Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to Guns N' Roses Central. And today I want to talk about the time that Slash pranked Axl Rose during a live interview on the radio in 1991. Now, before we get to that point, I want to talk a bit about the radio show that Axl Rose was on. So he was on a pretty well-known radio show back in the 90s called Rockline. In fact, Rockline ran for a couple decades. I think it stopped running back in like the mid-2000s or even the early 2010s. But it was a popular show where a lot of, big bands would go and be interviewed. They'd promote their new record. They'd get calls from fans. They'd answer those questions. So it was November of 1991, and Guns N' Roses were about to hit the road again with Gilby Clarke. So it was Gilby's first set of shows with the band, which took place in Worcester, Massachusetts. In fact, they played 2 shows in Massachusetts as part of those first 2 shows that Gilby was joining the band. The band got off the road in late August of 91. That was Izzy's last show at Wembley, and then they had a couple months to shoot some videos for the Use Your Illusion records, as well as get ready for the album to come out on September 17th, 1991. And of course, during that time, they had to find a guitarist to replace Izzy, which would end up being Thrilled for Killed's guitarist Gilby Clarke. Now, in the run-up to those Worcester shows, Axl went on Rockline to go promote the Use Your Illusion records and talk a bit about what was going on in the band and Izzy leaving. And one thing that you may not know about Guns N' Roses is that they used to have a feud with the show Rockline. So back in 1988, the members of Guns N' Roses, at least Duff, Izzy, and Slash, went on Rockline, and they were drunk and they were swearing and they were harassing people in the studio, and it created a really bad amount of blood between Bob Coburn, who interviewed the band, and the Guns N' Roses camp. In fact, Guns N' Roses got banned off of KLOS, which was one of the main rock stations in LA at the time. So this is an article from the Los Angeles Times published on July 24th, 1988. So it says Guns N' Roses may be the hottest band in the country. They may have a number 2 album on the Billboard charts and a growing rep as the most charismatic group to emerge from the local hard rock scene since Van Halen. So why is LA's top rock station at KLOS FM not playing the album's hit single Sweet Child of Mine? To which one of the program directors said, "Our testing found it had a highly negative reaction with anyone over 25. They just didn't like the song. Those listeners are really important to us, so it wasn't worth the risk of playing it." Now, Geffen Records promo chief Al Curry told a different story. "I think they must have pulled the record because of the way the band behaved on Rockline." And according to Geffen Records, the band's behavior was disgraceful. He even added they couldn't even straighten up long enough to do the show. The guitarist, who they referred to in the article as Flash, vomited all over the studio, and Bob Coburn said they ripped the girl's blouse and were pretty out of control. But that had nothing to do with the radio station's decision to pull the record. So here's a little snippet of what happened when Slash, Duff, and Izzy went on Rockline. And you'll notice that you can hear like a weird sound in the microphone. That was Slash vomiting on the console because according to him, he had some bad food. More specifically, he said he ate a bad artichoke. So here's the clip.
Something else, but I'm on the radio, so I have to say stuff.
Thanks. What's your question, Dan?
Okay, my question is about the song My Michelle. Is that about a real person?
It's not some chick. Blowhead girl. Yeah, she does. Nice chick, though.
Except for that. I guess that's it, Dan.
What?
Thanks for the call.
What do you want?
That's it. He just want to know if it's about a real girl. And yes, it is.
Yeah, it's real.
We have a real girl on the line right now.
Thanks for calling.
Her name is Renee in Harlingen, Texas. She's listening to 99X in Brownsville. Renee, you're on the rock line.
Hi, Slash, and everybody else.
What am I? Hi, you linoleums? Hi.
Hi. My question is to Slash. Who are your main influences? And then I have another question after this.
Okay, my main influences are Duff, Izzy, and Steve and Axl, because if you knew these guys, it would be one of those situations where you couldn't be influenced by anybody else because you didn't have enough time, right?
So I'll give you that $5 later.
And the other question, Renee.
Yeah, what's the other question?
What's the other one?
Okay, my other question is, how did the band come about?
We just met in Hollywood, and that was it. And we were the only 5 guys that I think we could tolerate each other for an extended period of time.
We all came together.
Once. We all came together once, and we said, okay,
that was good.
Oh, my. Renee, thanks for the call. We got a timeout coming, then we'll welcome you to the jungle and have more with Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the jungle. Guns N' Roses on Rockline on the Global Satellite Network. We're going to talk with Kim.
500 vitamins.
Calm down, boys. Calm down. We have Kim on the line in Davenport, Iowa. She's listening to 97X, serving the Quad Cities. Hi there, Kim.
Hi. Hey. Oh, my God. You guys
So, he flew us up to San Francisco a couple times. We acted in the movie. We like stood there and they put a camera on us.
Another barf bag here to go, please.
So it just came about for some reason we actually really don't know about, but we're in it.
There you go, Kim. Thanks for your call. We're going to talk now to Tracy in Reno, Nevada, listening to 105.7 KOZZ. Tracy, you're on with Guns N' Roses.
Hi.
Hi. Hey.
I'd like to know, in your own words, describe your music, because a lot of people get the wrong impression.
Okay. What do you mean the wrong impression?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that...
Which?
So the time came for Axl to go on Rockline 3 years later to promote Guns N' Roses' latest release. Now, Bob Coburn, who interviewed them back in 1988, was the same guy interviewing Axl. And Bob Coburn confessed that partway during the interview, during the commercial break, Axl had confessed to me that he came to Rockline listening to NWA on 11, parked in a median on Cahuenga Boulevard, and was going to kick my ass for messing with his boys. He didn't, he said, because I was too nice and a lot bigger than he was, and the dust on the fiasco settled. So fast forward now, and Axl's on the show, and he's taking calls from fans who have questions, and one of the guys who calls in is named Saul, which is Slash's real name, and he tries to trick Axl and says that he's going to be selling a lot of the memorabilia he has from the band and bootlegs. And check out what Axl's response is.
California, listening to 95.5 KLOS. You're on, Saul.
Yeah, is that Axl?
It's Axl.
Axl, this is sort of personal, but I didn't know how else to reach you. I have a stockpile of bootleg shirts and magazines and all this stuff that I've collected, and I can't seem to get rid of it, and I was wondering if I could sell it to you.
What's happening, Slash? When you said Saul, I almost said it. It's like Slash.
What's happening?
What are you doing?
I just called to say hi.
That's cool.
I was.
It's good to hear from you. How'd it go today?
Oh, good. It
Good.
was really good. We went through like breakdown and the strange and all that stuff. So
All right.
I'm in a good mood. But I just wanted to call and say hi.
That's great. And those bootlegs, it's like, I don't know, Blake will buy them.
What gave me the idea was I was cleaning out the apartment today and I found all this stuff.
Well, I'm sure you can get money for it.
Yeah, well, I was selling some of it on the street on my way to rehearsal.
Bleecker Bob's wants it to.
Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just had to do this.
That was great. Where were you from again?
Pasadena, yeah, right. Hey, Slash, thanks for calling and being on. Hey, I left you a letter at KLOS. I hope you got it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I probably will. I haven't gotten it so far.
Yeah, well, I think you did get it. But,
That's right. It's you.
yeah, it's me. It's Bob Coburn, yeah. Remember? Yeah. Yeah, I left you a little note a couple of months ago. I hope you got it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, that was cool.
Hey, you come back sometime, okay?
I definitely will. I'll be down there in an hour the sixth time. Give me a call later.
No problem.
Talk to you guys then.
All right. Slash from Guns N' Roses. We're taking a time out. We're coming back for some more. Saul from Pasadena. Saul is on the line.
Now, you probably heard Axl reference a guy named Blake. So who is this guy Blake he's talking about? So if you guys have ever read Craig Duswalt's book, Welcome to My Jungle, he talks a bit about this guy Blake. So his full name is Blake Stanton, and he was Axl Rose's personal assistant on the Use Your Illusion tour before Craig Duswalt took over. And for a short period of time, Craig Duswalt was Blake's assistant. So Axl Rose's assistant also needed an assistant because he was so busy at the time. And this is an interesting fact that you guys may not know. He also sings background vocals on the song I Don't Care About You off the Spaghetti Incident. If you go look at some of the credits on the song, you'll see Blake Stanton's name listed there as well. The band also brought Blake out on stage back in 1993. They were wrapping up the Use Your Illusion tour. I think it was like the second last show in Paris. And they basically brought Blake out on stage with them along with Brian May, and they did Knocking on Heaven's Door together. Now, I'm not sure what Blake has been doing since then, but I thought that was a little interesting fact a lot of GNR fans may not know. So how did those Worcester shows go? So the first show that Gilby Clarke ever played with Guns N' Roses was on December 5th, 1991. So during the show, Axl basically said that Live and Let Die, the video for the song, was going to be premiering the next Sunday, and it was the first live performance of Guns N' Roses' cover of the Misfits song Attitude, as well as they premiered a couple more songs live for the first time, including their cover of the Rolling Stones' Wild Horses, which was merely basically an instrumental cover, and then their first live appearance of the song So Fine. Slash also introduced Move to the City as It's So Not, I Screwed Up Already. Okay, this is Move to the City. Pretty Tied Up was also started after the Godfather theme was stopped. And during Rocket Queen, Axl says he smelt marijuana. And Slash said he doesn't like to discriminate against any particular city's rock and roll crowd, but he said, you guys kick some effing ass. So the next night they played a second show in Worcester, and the set list was pretty similar to the previous night. Now, after Mr. Brownstone, Axl thanked the crowd in Massachusetts for selling out the concerts quickly, and before Double Talk and Jive, Axl mentioned there was a lot of talk in the press about the song Get in the Ring. He goes on to say that he's very proud of the song and that Duff came up with the song. He also said he won't be playing the song live because he felt the song spoke for itself on the record. He also went on a huge rant about GNR's relationship with various publications. And during Rocket Queen, Axl mentioned that the song It Tastes Good, Don't It? Was written a few years ago when the band was trying to get kicked off the Iron Maiden tour. And it was also the first ever live performance of Breakdown. Now, Axl also did something unusual during Knocking on Heaven's Door. He sang the phone part from the actual studio recording. And before the song Estranged was played live, Axl told the crowd that Boston has always had a special place in their hearts because they grew up listening to a lot of Aerosmith. So that does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What was it like when those Illusion records came out? And what was it like for the months after it came out? Like once you guys heard that Izzy was no longer in the band and there was this new guitar player, Gilby, who I'm sure a lot of people hadn't heard of before. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your comments in the section below. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And go check out my second YouTube channel, Rock and Roll True Stories, in the link below. And you can also go to gnrcentral.com for the latest and greatest Guns N' Roses. Yeah!